Welcome back, my friends. Today we were supposed to be roasting my very first hand loads, or well, some of my very first hand loads ever. I dug them out of the back of the old stockpile and I was like, hey, maybe I should try these. It's gonna be interesting, right? Anyways, from the very first pound of powder I bought back in, I think 2017 or 2018, we reloaded some 55 grain VMax as well as some 55 grain Nosler Ballistic Tips. Unfortunately, I already shot all of them, so we can examine their brass, but I don't have any more of the VMax to look at, but this is what the Nosler Ballistic Tip looks like. Super wicked awesome little tip design there, pretty cool stuff. I used Federal 223 brass. We were using Ramshot TAC 24.5 grains, 55 grain VMax, 55 grain ballistic tip, seated at 2.25 inches. So all of this in the middle here was actually 4 grains of Trail Boss. I think that was right off the Hodgdon website. They're supposed to be subsonics. I threw some of those in there. We played with those as well. But we'll get to those here in a bit. Anyways, our first group, we ran over the chronograph. We shot 5 of the VMaxes. So let's get to that.
3015. 3039. 2999. 3040.
Here was our 5-shot group with the VMax. We ended up at right over 1 inch there with 5 shots. Chronograph readings gave us an average of 3019, extreme spread of 41, and standard deviation of 17. After that, the gun had a few minutes to cool, and we went on to our first 5 with the Nosler Ballistic Tip.
2937. 3005. 3006. 2992. 2999.
And so here's our Nosler Ballistic Tip we saw there at the range. Very nice grouping, just under an inch at 0.805 inches, somewhere right in that area. The chronograph readings gave us an average of 2987 and extreme spread of 69, nice, and standard deviation of 26. Not the best chronograph numbers there, but this is a very nice group, so I do like where we're at here. Next, I actually tried some of the subsonics with Trail Boss. They were the Full Metal Jackets, so let's check those out real quick. So we took our first 5 shots over the chronograph with our VMax. That's all about an inch there. We are at 100 yards. And pretty similar performance here with the Nosler boat tail. I did just shoot some subsonic loads here with Trail Boss. I think they ended up way down here, but anyway. So as you saw, that was our 4 grains of Trail Boss. Nowhere near the paper. We were a couple feet low. I was trying to aim right here at the edge of this large point right there on the target. So I was going to be trying the Full Metal Jackets here and then the Noslers here, but I didn't even end up shooting any of these because that was just so far off. I might have to try these at say 50 yards or maybe even 25 or whatever. Anyways, our next group, I shot 5 more rounds with the VMax. Time for the last 5 with the VMax. Last 5 for the Nosler Ballistic Tip. Alright guys, I still have no idea where these subsonic full metal jackets went, but anyways, here were 10 shots with the VMax. I did 5 VMaxes and then 5 with the Noslers. I switched back to the VMax and then back to the Nosler. Not too bad. Too bad I don't have any more of those bullets, but anyways, let's get back. So here was our 10 shot group. Our spread here was just about 1.5 inches. Not too horrible for 10 shots. I think if that were a groundhog or something, it would probably have been hit. So whoopee-doo, there we are. We have 10 shots with our VMax. So let's take a look at our ballistic tips over here from Nosler. Just over 1 inch with these 10 shots with the Nosler ballistic tips. Pretty good performance, but I don't have any more VMax. I don't have any more ballistic tips. This stuff was loaded probably 5 years ago, maybe at this point. So turned out a lot better than I thought. So yeah, that's probably the best group of the day. It was the last group we shot because I did 5 here and then 5 back at the VMax, and then the final 5 were here. So I'm pretty happy about this here. So here's a quick look at our brass, and this is back before I really knew how to get rid of the crimp, I believe, from the primer pocket. So this is what happens when you just jam it on in there. And then you have some of this shaving coming off of the primer, and it's just jammed up into the little pocket there against the case head. And you can see we actually had a little bit of gas leak out of the primer because of this. So yes, you can, I guess, prime a crimped case, but it might, you know, pop your primer or get you some gas leakage. And that could have been some of the accuracy issues we saw, or some of those, what we would call flyers, I guess, here in the business. But anyways, there were a couple of these. Yeah, there were a couple of these. This one was from the Noslers, but again, the primer must have popped, or a little shaving of something got in there and created a dent. So when it ignited, there was enough pressure to actually split it and have some gases leaking out there. But the tack was very clean burning. That was nice, but no excessive pressures on any of these. Here's another one where we just kind of jammed the primer in, and you can see like a ring or some crap was on my cedar for the primer, so that left an indention. And then here again, we had some gas, you know, squeaking out there. So definitely not the best reloading practices here, Mr. Dummy. It's not a very good showing. Also, I forgot to show you, but I crimped the hell out of these. You can kind of see the collets from the Lee factory crimp die. But if you've ever seen like some really gross Winchester white box ammo, these were worse than that, just totally smashed. I'm sure the bullets were actually deformed because they were just over crimped. From me being a new reloader, and I don't know why I never shot these, but kind of glad we did. That was interesting. So anyways, thanks for joining. Today this was supposed to be me just kind of like roasting the ammo and making fun of how crappy it was, but it actually shot much better than I was expecting. So I meant to have recorded like an intro segment talking about how I expected it to, you know, not really perform very well based on my crappy loading practices back then. But I guess it shot well enough today for me to be like, wow, I guess I didn't suck that hard. So if you're new and you're still loading, don't be worried if you have some ugly primers and stuff like this. You know, as long as you're within a safe charge range and your brass isn't splitting and doing stupid stuff, you should be okay. But obviously this isn't what we want all the time. So furthermore, I have some more tack to try, so maybe we'll do that. If I'm able to get some more VMaxes or ballistic tips, or for now, maybe I can try a full metal jacket or a soft point, see how those like that charge with tack, or if I can find an even better one. Who knows? We can play with all kinds of stuff here. Anyways, thanks for joining me on roasting my very first hand loads. If you enjoy this sort of content, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also support us over on patreon.com/dummyround. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you in the next video. Have a good one.